Awesome. So welcome guys to the Mindset for Business workshop. I am very excited about this one today because obviously I love talking about the topic of mindset. It was where my business journey really started in this coaching space, really focusing in on that mindset side of things. So I'm super excited to be diving into this with you all today. If you are watching live or you are watching the recording, just if you want, you can take a photo of the screen now and you can share it on your socials and tag me in it so that I can reshare it and we can let everyone know that you're here today, and we can continue to connect further on Instagram if we're not already friends. So I'll give you a minute to take your time to do that. And what I encourage you to do, if you are obviously in the live workshop today, if you are able to, please pop your cameras on so I can see your beautiful faces, and I encourage you to be as engaged as you possibly can. If you are watching a recording of this workshop, then still be engaged, still be actively listening and consume all that you can, because I know this is going to be a extremely helpful one for you. And I do see we have a couple of people who are tuning in on Facebook this morning. So if you're sitting over there, you're watching the live stream on Facebook, I encourage you to click the link that's in the description of that post so you can join us live and really engage with us here on Zoom, because when we do have our Q&A session at the end, that's going to be run completely through Zoom. So if you do have any questions you want answered live, then pop on over here and join us. So let's dive straight in then. I'll do a little quick introduction into myself in case some of you haven't met me before or haven't been on one of these workshops before, but I am a Pisces and I am a plant mum, but I'm also an architecture graduate turned entrepreneur. So it was in 2020 that I decided to drop out of my master's degree in architecture and have a total career change, to move into this direction of entrepreneurship and starting my own business. Welcome, Dakota. So nice to have you joining us today. Pop your camera on if you're able to, so we can see that beautiful face. So I made the transition from architecture into this entrepreneurial space. And honestly, it was the best decision that I ever made for myself. Okay. So I initially started out as a mindset specific coach, but then as I've continued to go through my business journey, I've now transitioned to mindset and business, really focusing on that element of alignment in both, being aligned with your mindset, with your goals, but also feeling aligned in the business that you are building for yourself. Now, I am also the host of the Empower with Em podcast. So if you're not listening to it already, don't you worry. I've got a slide where you can get access to the podcast, and make sure you tune in, because that is actually where my business journey started. I was 20 years old. I was in my last year of my bachelor's degree, and I started the podcast because I was like, heck, I'm just going to go for it. This is something I've wanted to do for so long. I've had this tug on my heart. So let's just fully lean into it. Now, the final thing I want to share about me and my business journey is that I have built my business to 6 figures within the first 8 months of starting at the age of 22, which obviously is an awesome accomplishment, but it does come down really to the mindset and the strategies that I did put in place. So if you are wanting to achieve these same sorts of results, then it's good that you're tuning in today, because mindset was one of the biggest things that allowed me to see this sort of result within my business. So what I do as a mindset and business alignment coach is I help people to align their mindset with their business goals. I help you align your business with your lifestyle goals, because it's super important that you are building your business around your life rather than building your life around your business. I help people find and implement the business strategies that align the best with them so that they can start to see the success that they want and deserve to see. And I also help people learn how to live and work through alignment to prevent burnout, because I have been down that path, and it is not great. Once you hit that burnout point, it's sort of like you're starting from scratch again and you have to rebuild yourself forward. So that's something that I want to help all entrepreneurs inside this business space to really avoid doing. So here it is now. If you're not listening to the podcast already, make sure you pull out your phone and you take a little photo of that QR code, and that'll take you to all of the streaming platforms that the podcast is on. But if you can't grab the QR code now, do not worry. You can access the link to this in my Instagram bio. Okay. So what we're going to be learning about today is really 3 key things. The first is understanding fully what mindset is. Then we're going to be looking at the 4 mindset pillars that, every entrepreneur really should be focusing in on. And then I'm going to show you how you can unlock your next level self. So who's excited for today's workshop? Pop in the chat box. Yep, I can see Dakota doing a happy dance. Now Serena's as well. I love it. And Trisha gave us a thumbs up. Love that, guys. You're really bringing the energy. Enjoying this vibe, enjoying this group we have today. So what is mindset? Let's start to explore this. See, the importance of mindset as an entrepreneur is that this is something that is either going to hold you back or propel you forward to actually seeing the results that you want to see. And the thing about our mindsets is everybody has one. We're all either in a positive mindset or in a negative mindset. But the truth is not everyone's actually aware of what mindset they're in and how that's actually impacting them. So I could imagine right now that those of you who are on here today are quite invested into their mindset development already. So you could probably tell me in the chat box if you are in a empowered or disempowered mindset when it comes to working on your businesses. See, and that's because you've got this level of consciousness. You've got this level of awareness, right? Because you're actively working on this. But when people aren't actively working on their mindset, then what happens is they're unaware of what state they're in, and they're unaware of the impacts that's having on the results or the lack of results that they're seeing. Awesome. So Serene said she's in both. And that's a perfect answer, Serene, because the thing is, we're not always in an empowered mindset. We're not always in a disempowered mindset. We sort of go up and down in between the two. And that is only natural because when we are constantly growing, we are constantly facing new challenges, going through new experiences, and obviously experiencing different emotions as well. So it's only natural that at some point you are experiencing one or the other, but it's important to have the awareness to know when you are in what state so you can actually make a conscious shift with it. Now, when we talk about the entrepreneurial mindset in particular, there's a couple key elements that really classify what this is. And I'm going to highlight them for you today. And I'm curious to know, out of all of these mindset elements that I share with you, how many do you feel like you embody right now? So the first element is of the entrepreneurial mindset, you believe in your ability to succeed. So give me a yes or a no in the chat box if you believe in your ability to succeed. And when we believe in our ability to succeed, that influences our outcome because we take empowered action, right, towards shaping the life that we want for ourselves. Awesome. Dakota, Trisha, both said yes. Love that, love that, love that. And Serene, a yes from you also. And guys, if you're watching over on Facebook, feel free to engage in the comments section and I'll go through and I'll send you some replies after our live session. So the second element of the entrepreneurial mindset is to have compelling goals. Do you think you guys have compelling goals at the moment? Yes or no? So these compelling goals, they're going to keep you future focused. They're going to keep you motivated. They're going to keep you driving forward in a self-directed motion towards the vision that you've created for yourself. Serene said no, and that's so fine because now you have the self-awareness that that is an area that you can work on. So thanks for sharing that, Serene. So the next thing as well is having an optimistic interpretation. Okay, so this really comes down to maintaining that positive perspective, being a glass half full, right? Getting yourself out of that victim mindset. When you see a problem, you don't see it as a problem, you see it as a potential opportunity, right? You become highly resilient, resourceful, solution-oriented because you have an optimistic interpretation. So let me know, does this one resonate with you? Do you feel yes or no that this is something that you've checked off with your mindset? And Dakota, thank you for sharing before. You have long-term goals, you get tripped on the short-term goals though. And that's fine. If you have those compelling long-term goals, that's a start, because then what we can do from there is start to break them down, and you can get some support to help you break them down if you feel like it's something that you get a bit tripped up on yourself. Awesome. Both Serene and Dakota said yes to the optimistic mindset. And Trisha, awesome. Yes, but I overthink 40% of the time. And again, that's something that is going to come back to your self-belief and your confidence in yourself, right? When we talk about overthinking, that's because you're doubting yourself. So if you feel like, you do overthink 40% of the time, I would really lean more into that first point of believing in your ability to succeed and having that confidence in yourself. So the next 3 points that connect to the entrepreneurial mindset. The first is being a lifelong knowledge seeker. And this one is one of my favorites because this is very much focused on continual learning, creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking. This is really the fun part of being an entrepreneur, right? Where we get super creative. So I'd love to know, do you guys think that you're a lifelong knowledge seeker? Is this something that yes or no? Awesome. I see so many head nods. Amazing. Now, the next point is obviously displaying a higher level of reliability. And this is so important again, because you need to understand that following through on simple solutions can lead to unforeseen opportunities. You need to be reliable, as the business owner, showing up for yourself, showing up for your team, showing up for your goals, but also showing up for your clients in being able to provide the solution that they're looking for. So is reliability something yes or no that you feel like you have down pat? And then the final point there as well is surrounding yourselves with an intentional community. Now, I can guarantee that this is a yes for each and every single one of you who are on this Zoom today, because if you are a part of my business building community, then that means that you are being intentional about surrounding yourself with like-minded people, entrepreneurs who are on the same journey. Serena's pumped about that because she's also a part of the BB Hub. She takes it to the next level with her community. I love it, Serene. But obviously, when you are being intentional about the community that you are in, then that allows you to have positive influence, be able to give guidance and be able to provide support, and also allows you to expand your zone of comfort. Why? Because when you're surrounded by like-minded people who are on the same journey that you're on, you're going to be constantly challenging yourself to grow with and alongside of these people. Amazing. Thank you guys for being so engaged in the chat box here on Zoom whilst we've gone through these points. I hope that this has been a helpful self-reflection for you guys so far. Now, when we talk about the entrepreneurial mindset, it's most often developed through intentionality and experiences. So obviously being intentional about wanting to work on your mindset, and then obviously creating experiences, taking action that's going to help you with that development further. So let's explore 4 ways that you guys can start being intentional and experiential with your mindset development. So the first way is putting yourself in challenging situations. Let me know in the chat box, yes or no. Do you put yourself in challenging situations often? Now, when we talk about putting yourself in challenging situations, what's really important is we can't be afraid of making mistakes. Okay, we need to lean into trial and error. We need to be willing to fail to be able to actually grow and expand. And see, mistakes are the biggest opportunity for growth. And I am someone who advocates to all of my clients that I want you to fail forward. If you're not failing, then you're not challenging yourself enough. Do you know how many failures I've been through in my business journey across the past 15 months, in order to get myself to where I am now? When you fail, you learn. And if you don't learn anything from that failure, then that's when it's a failure. But if you do take something away, if you do learn something from that experience, then that is not a failure. That is an opportunity for growth. I want you to, in saying that, also start to embrace the challenges that are around you and really actually start seeking them out. Because the more that you face the challenges, the more you equip yourself with the skills to handle the situations when they occur next time, right? It's going to build confidence in yourself as well, because you've experienced a challenge, but you've also overcome that challenge, right? So that's a really powerful thing for your confidence there. Amazing. Trisha, Serene, Dakota, I'm so glad that you're all so willing to fail forward in your businesses. So let's look at this next point then of continuous education. Now we're talking about the personal development side of things here. How many of you actively work on your personal development? Yes or no? Is it something that you commit to every single week, showing up for, whether it be reading daily or listening to a podcast, doing something that's going to help you expand your personal and professional development. Amazing. Trisha said she loves this part every single day. Serene, yes. Dakota, every day. Amazing, guys. And you know why this is so important? Because your business is only going to grow as much as you grow, right? So if you feel like your business is stuck and isn't growing, that could very well be a reflection of the fact that you are stuck and no longer growing, which means you need to start exploring how can you look to improve yourself? How can you look to grow yourself? How can you look to expand yourself a little bit further, right? Now, you always want to be looking to improve yourself in some way, shape, or form. That might be journaling, it might be meditating, it might be learning something new, or maybe that looks different for you. Maybe it's a matter of focusing on your health or something else for a certain point in time. But you always want to be looking to do that continuous education, that personal development, and also that professional development as well. So when I say personal development, we're obviously talking about the mindset side of things. And when I say professional development, we're talking about your skills, right? Whatever it is you do as a service provider, developing your skills, your knowledge, and your abilities in these areas, then you can ultimately serve your clients at a higher level. Now, the third point is approaching problems from all sides. I'd love to know, how many of you guys actually resonate with showing up for this one? Now, when we're looking at approaching problems from all sides, we're really thinking differently to the rest of the crowd. We don't simply do what other people are doing. We don't see what the person in the lane over from us is doing and think, oh, we have to duplicate that. We have to be like that. Instead, we be bold enough to think outside the box. And that's what's going to separate you as an entrepreneur. Instead of copying what other people do, making it your own or following your own intuition or inspired action, right? Because each and every single one of you are so damn unique. And when you try to show up and try to be someone that you're not, you're actually depriving the world of experiencing who you are in your true authenticity. So you need to start approaching problems from a range of different angles in order to move forwards as well. We may be faced with a challenge and think, oh, there's only one solution to this. And when that solution doesn't work, we can we can fall into this victim mode and almost give up. But when that one solution doesn't work, we need to look for a second. When that one doesn't work, we need to look for a third. And we need to keep on looking until we find the solution that is right for us. Because more than likely, the first solution that you do come across will not be the right one for you. So you need to make sure that you are exploring all options. I could see that one landed well for you, Trisha. Saw the little flame emoji come up. But it's awesome to hear that, Trisha, as well, you're learning to control your reactions. That is going to be something that will help you a lot throughout your business. Serene, sometimes approaching the problems from all sides, sometimes is better than never, right? We can only go up from there. And Dakota, authentic is expression in everything, and I can work to be more open in my approach to solutions. Yes. And honestly, Dakota, looking at your social media, I already see that it speaks authenticity, which is so powerful. So keep on showing up in that way. So the next step, the fourth and the final thing that I want to share with you about embodying this entrepreneurial mindset is always being in motion. And this is about taking action. Okay. So don't just spend all day thinking. What I want you to do is actually start doing. I want you to build your discipline to allow you to reach your goals. I want you to provide value. Think about how you can be providing value in so many different ways, in so many different shapes and forms as well. And I want you to embody that problem-solving mindset. So give me a big yes in the chat box if you are always in motion, you are always taking action, and you're always trying to find ways that you can provide value, build your discipline, think outside the box, and move forward in some way, shape, or form. Yes, awesome, Serene. Yes, Dakota, building discipline. Love it, love it, love it. And Trisha, I see the head nod going on. So I'm glad this lands for all of you. So in saying this, guys, let's dive into part 2 of today's workshop. And let's look at the 4 mindset pillars that really you need to be leaning into as an entrepreneur. So this is essentially going to be your checklist, right? Making sure that each of these areas you are currently hitting. So pillar 1 is commitment. Pillar 2 is application. Pillar 3 is consistency. And pillar 4 is organization. So let's unpack each of these one by one. And I'm actually going to teach you guys today exactly how you can start embodying these things in your businesses. So how you show up for one thing is how you show up for all things. I see that one lands for Dakota. And really think about that, guys, right? How do you show up for everything that you are committed to? What we want to make sure we're doing is we have this consistent energy, this consistent level of commitment to all areas of our lives. Because if we're lacking in one area, we're going to feel the effects of that in another as well. So I want you to reflect on these few questions to see how committed you are at the moment. How committed are you to your goals? Are you married or are you dating your goals? And how committed are you to your growth? Now, when I talk about are you married or dating your goals, think about it this way. You're in a relationship with someone, it's just casual boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe you're seeing each other for a couple months. Or you're married to your partner. And I shouldn't just say boyfriend, girlfriend, I should say whatever your ideal partner is, right? That level of marriage is a much deeper level of commitment than just casually seeing someone. So are you casually seeing your goals? Or are you all in, married, tied the knot, no looking back, you've signed the contract, committed all the way to your goals? I see 120% from Trisha. That is awesome. The way I like to think it is also slamming the back door, right? Slamming the door, locking the key, and throwing the key away so you can never open that door up and walk back out of it again. Oftentimes, people allow their commitment to be influenced by their motivation. And this is something that I noticed a lot in some of the clients that I would work with on a closer level, is that when they were lacking motivation, they would allow their commitment to drop off as well. But what is so important for your success in the long term is that your commitment is not influenced by the level of motivation that you experience. And I'm going to explain to you guys why that is, but I want you to also reflect on this question of, does your level of commitment currently depend upon your level of motivation? And if you feel like being honest in the chat box today, let me know, yes or no. Now, when we talk about motivation is really this emotional response to something. You know, emotions come and go, which is why motivation also comes and goes. Commitment, however, commitment is deeper than emotions. It's making a commitment to dedicating yourself to something unconditionally. You're not going to back out just because your emotions have changed. See, successful people, they don't depend on motivation to succeed. It's their commitment that gets them there. Why? Because successful people aren't motivated all the time. Doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter how big your business is. You are not going to be motivated all the time. Why? Because there's always different factors, both internal and external, that influence our level of motivation. So it's not the motivation that creates success. It is the commitment at the end of the day. I'm so glad to hear that everyone here on Zoom today is all about the commitment and not about the motivation alone. So when motivation is absent, it's your commitment that's going to keep you going. So are you currently depending on motivation to show up for your goals? And we know the answer to that for everyone who's here on Zoom, but anyone watching the replay, really sit and reflect on that question. So I want you guys to put a rating in the chat box for me. I'd love to know, you know, we say that we're committed. We say that we're more commitment than motivation, but how committed are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, pop it in the chat box. 1 being not committed at all, and 10 being completely and utterly committed. Serene's a 6. Awesome. So start to reflect, Serene, and see what's going to take you from a 6 to a 10. What's that 4 that's holding you back right now? Trisha, being a 7, love it. And again, same question to you. How can you shift that 7 to a 10? And Dakota, thank you for sharing. How can we boost that 6 to a 10? What is that gap? What is creating that gap? What is holding you back from being completely and utterly committed? For me, my big reason to stay committed is I reflect back on my time in the architecture space and studying my degree and working in that 9 to 5 job. And I remember so clearly how unhappy I was, how heavy I felt emotionally, and how unfulfilled I was. And just thinking of that memory, that alone is what puts me at a 10 for my commitment to my business. To be able to show up every day, create my business around my life, live my life by design, and work towards goals and work with clients that actually fulfill me and motivate me, inspire me, and make me cry sometimes, right? Because I see the sort of impact that working with them has on their life, and that is true fulfillment. So that's what makes me a 10 committed to my business. Now, what we're going to look at is pillar 2. Okay, we're going to dive into application now. And when we talk about application, we're talking about aligned action that actually gets results. So there's a bit of a reflection here that I want you guys to be doing, because this is one of the areas that generally lets people down the most. Okay, we take action, but is it necessarily aligned action? So have you been taking action towards your goal so far? If not, why not? What excuses have you been allowing to interfere with the goals that you have? And I say excuses because fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, all of these things, they're excuses that hold you back at the end of the day, because you can still take action forward even if they are present. Those limiting beliefs, those fears, those doubts, they never go away. Okay, it doesn't matter where you're at in your business, there's always going to be a new level of them that you experience, but it's about shifting your mindset to not allow these excuses to hold you back from taking action. So what are the reasons you haven't been showing up to take action so far? Do any come to mind for you guys? And if so, you can pop them in the chat box and let me know. And what are you going to do to change that? You know, once you're clear on what the reasons are as to why you haven't been showing up, what are you going to do to change that? Serene, thank you for sharing the fear of success. This is one that I feel so many people do actually are impacted by. And the funny thing as well is it takes a lot of self-awareness to actually get clear that it's the fear of success that you are scared of, because it's easy to assume it's the fear of failure. But what I want you to explore is, why do you fear success? What is scary about succeeding for you? And then once you're clear on what that is, then we want to grow ourselves into that version of ourselves who is able to handle those things that you're scared of. See, that's the thing about success, and that's the thing about business, is you're constantly just growing and evolving into a higher version of yourself. So Serene, thanks for sharing again. You said the responsibility that comes from the success. Okay, so what does the version of yourself look like that can handle that responsibility, that shows up for it confidently? Start creating an action list and start to embody that version of yourself until you are confident that you can handle the responsibility. Maybe it starts on a smaller level, proving to yourself by taking on smaller responsibilities that you are capable of doing it. So start to sit with that and think about that when you start to develop your action plan for how you're going to create the change. Dakota said, not being clear in what you are building. So clarity is so important. We don't take action if we're not clear on what we're moving towards or how we need to move towards that, right? Because if we're not clear on what that end goal is, then we're naturally not going to know the steps that we need to take. So definitely doing some deeper reflection there, or even reaching out and getting some support with finding that clarity, so that then you can break down the action steps and start to take some progress forward. You know, start to make that momentum so that you're not feeling so stuck and stagnant because of a lack of clarity, a lack of direction. And Trisha, going all in and it not being what I wanted. Yes, this is a deep one. So really sit and reflect on that. Why do you feel that you might go all in on your goal and it not turn out to be what you wanted? Is this an experience that you've had in the past, right? When we do have these fears as well, something that we can sit with and reflect on is this fact or is this fiction? Is this a story that my brain's just making up right now? Or is this coming from a factual experience that I have had in the past? And if that is the case, if it is coming from a factual experience, what we're going to do is start to reframe that. Yes, that's an experience that's happened once, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And what did you learn from that experience that you can use to help you get a different outcome next time? So let's move on to the next slide. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing those elements there with me. So fears and self-doubts, they are often what hold us back from taking action. We can all resonate with this on some level. Maybe it's the fear of making an investment into yourself. Maybe it's the fear of judgment. Maybe it is the fear of failure or success. We can allow those things to hold us back because they feel really heavy. They feel really scary. But I want you guys to get clear on what fears or limiting beliefs are holding you back from taking action so that you can actually start to move forward and overcome them. Okay, once you have that self-awareness, then you can begin to figure out and reverse engineer the action steps that you can take to actually help you get to where you want to be. So how do you start taking immediate action then? We reflect, we create, and we do. Let's break these down a little bit because I know some of you guys are a bit stagnant at the moment, holding yourself back from taking the aligned action you should be taking. So let's look at this 3-step process. What we want to do is we really want to create a plan. Create a plan of how we're going to start moving forward. Have you scheduled time into your week to work on your goals? Are you time managing yourself efficiently? Are you focusing on productivity or busyness? There's a big difference there. Busyness is just filling up your time, doing things to keep you busy. Productivity is focusing on tasks that actually move the needle forward. Do you need to start waking up earlier or going to bed later to create the time to work on your goals? Is time a factor for you? Is that what's holding you back? What is your most productive time of the day, and are you utilizing this to your advantage? And is your reason for success failure proof? See, as I was sharing with you guys before about my reason to be committed and to actually keep showing up for my business, that fear of going back to where I was like 15 months ago, I do not want that. That is the thing that drives me to take the action forward. And it doesn't matter what failure I experience. I'm going to get back up and I'm going to try again anyway, because I'm not going back there. Right. And that is why my reason for success is failure proof. But why is your reason for success failure proof? Why is success a must, not a maybe? Sit with that and think about that a little bit deeper. The next step is obviously doing the work. We've created the plan. Now we need to do the work. So guys, just do it. Stop thinking about it. Stop sitting on it. Stop procrastinating it. It's not just going to magically happen itself. You need to grit your teeth and you need to get it done. Yes, it might be hard. Yes, it might be uncomfortable. Yes, it might be boring. But you need to do it anyway, because the only way you're going to get the results is by actually doing the work. Without action, there's no results. So get it done. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone in whatever way you need to. Find a way to be held accountable. Maybe this looks like a friend, a business buddy, a coach, right? Having someone that can actually push you to get it done when you're not willing to do it yourself. But you need to do the work in order to see the results. And then the final part that I want to share on this is that action builds momentum. Okay. You might feel stuck, you might feel stagnant, you might feel like things are a bit slow right now, but once you start taking that continued action, you're going to start to build momentum. You're going to start feeling that flow building. You know, you're going to find your rhythm and you're going to see yourself moving forward. And when we talk about momentum, we can really look at it in the sense of this momentum cycle. So the momentum cycle really starts with belief and certainty, you know, releasing the doubts and releasing the limiting beliefs and just believing that you can freaking do this thing, right? That you can do it. You don't need the qualifications. You don't need, you know, the degrees behind you. You don't need the flashy titles, the flashy cars, the flashy clothes, and none of it. You can do it. And I tell you that as a Masters of Architecture dropout at the age of 21, deciding I'm going to go all in on believing myself and make this thing happen with zero business experience, zero coaching experience, but just a heck of a lot of drive and belief. Okay. So put that belief and certainty in yourself. And from there, you're going to be able to tap into your potential. Okay, once we tap into our potential, we are realizing, we are knowing that deep within us, we have what we need to succeed. And when you are sure of that, you will take the action forward. You will plan out the action list. You will do your DMO. You will be consistently showing up because you believe in your potential to succeed. And when we take that action, we begin to see the results. We begin to see the clients coming in. We begin to see the income building. We begin to see the community growing, right? Everything that you envision, everything that you dream about for your businesses, the results will start to come, but we cannot stop there. This is a cycle we must keep on going around. Once we experience one level of results, it's like we've unlocked one level of achievement, but then we need to go to the next, right? And in order to get to the next level, we have to go through this cycle again and over and over and over. And I like to think of it as a bit of an endless video game. You know, life is just an endless video game that we're constantly moving level through level on. The levels get harder and harder and harder as we go. Sometimes we come across a big, scary boss that stops us in our tracks and requires a little bit more time to move through. But nevertheless, we can keep on leveling up, okay, as long as we keep on going through this cycle. So what I want you to do then, as we wrap up this pillar 2, talking about application, is give me a little bit of a rating in the chat box. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed currently, how deeply do you lean into this area of application? And be honest with yourself once again. This is all just for self-reflection, no judgment whatsoever. Trisha, thank you for sharing. We're at a 4. So what can you start to think about doing to help you just get one level higher as well? Thanks, Serene, for sharing with a 4 also there. We don't need to look at this and go, okay, I'm at a 4, so let's jump to a 10, because that's a pretty big leap. But what we want to look at doing is, okay, how can I go from a 4 to a 5? Then how can I go from a 5 to a 7? And then how can I go from a 7 to a 10, right? Or whatever flow is going to work best for you. Always looking at how can we get one level higher than where we are right now. Thank you for sharing that, Dakota, at a 5 right now. So what can you do to get yourself one level higher? So let's lean into the final 2 pillars that we're going to be covering today. So pillar 3, we're looking at consistency. So this is a quote that I absolutely love. I read it once. I forgot who said it. That's why I haven't quoted them on here, but it's not me, it's someone else. Let's just put that disclaimer out there. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives. It's what we do consistently. And think about that. How many people sign up to a gym on New Year's Day, go down, do one session, never go again, and wonder why they don't have abs? It's because it's not what we do once that shapes our lives. It's what we do consistently, time and time and time again. Same with your businesses. Okay, cool. You spent one day posting content, reaching out to people, creating connections. What did you do for the other 6 days of the week, huh? Your business isn't where it is right now. Have a look at how often you are showing up to take the consistent action. Small amounts of consistent activity are going to compound into big results. There's a really great book that you can read on this. It's called The Slight Edge. That was the very first personal development book that I read, and it talks so much about the compound effect, okay? How small steps over a prolonged period of time will create big results. So if you want to shift your mindset around consistency and compounding, read that book. It's really great. It's called The Slight Edge, in case you missed it. So I want you to reflect on this element of consistency and tell me, how consistent are you with your activity? How consistent are you with your daily habits? And how consistent are you with your personal development? Something else you can think about in this area as well is, how consistent are you with your mindset? How consistently are you in that empowered entrepreneurial space versus falling into a more suffering state? Right? If you can get clear on how inconsistent or how consistent you are with this, you can also start to see where there's room for improvement. So how do we actually build consistency? I'm not going to stand here and shout at you and say, be more consistent, and not tell you how you can start to learn to be more consistent. So a couple different things that will help you is setting reminders, whether it be for daily activity or doing certain things like personal development. Maybe it's something in your business. Maybe it's simply to journal, right? And also rewarding yourself. When you complete your task or you achieve a goal, have positive reinforcement. Why? Because that's going to inspire you to keep on going. You're like, heck yes, I did all this hard work. I survived this massive self-transformation and I feel great after it. I deserve a little reward. We want to learn from our mistakes as well. So every single time that, you do experience inconsistency within your business or inconsistency within your mindset, don't allow that to stop your progress. Just pause and reflect. See, okay, what caused me to go wrong and how can I improve this next time? Repetition is also one of the keys to consistency. Don't just take action once, take it daily. So what I like to suggest to any of my clients who are trying to stack their habits and become more consistent in different areas is do the same thing every single day that you're trying to put in place. So let's say, for example, you want to start reading daily and doing more personal development. Don't put pressure on yourself to have to show up for an hour every single day to do the task, but just start small. Maybe it looks like 5 minutes every single day. You sit down, you pull out that book and you read a couple pages. Then once you're in that consistent habit of showing up every day for that small activity, then you can start to increase the volume in which you're doing. So the same applies for any activities in your business as well. And the final thing to help you with consistency is getting support, okay? Finding an accountability partner or getting a coach, someone that can actually keep you accountable to being consistent and showing up. So how consistent have you guys been being in your businesses and with your mindsets? Let me know, 1 to 10, where are you at with the consistency element? And I hope what this is doing for you guys today, going through these ratings is highlighting to you what areas you need to focus on the most. So make sure that you do write down these ratings you give yourself so then you can come back to them later. Trisha said 6. Lovely, Trisha. Not bad at all. Serene said, not very good. That's fine, Serene. So what does not very good look like? Be more specific with that, because the more specific you can be, the clearer you will be on obviously the steps that you'll be able to take to move forward as well. Dakota, 9 with self and 5 with business. This is a great example here, Dakota, because what I want to ask you the question of is, why do you lack that consistency with your business that you do show up for with yourself? And really reflect on that, get clear on that, figure out the specifics of that. Maybe it is something to do with motivation. Maybe it's to do with the lack of clarity you were talking about before, right? I can imagine that being a 9 with your self-development, you'd be pretty crystal clear on where it is that you actually want to be as your individual. And that's why you show up and that's why you're consistent with it. But when it comes to the business lacking that clarity, that's going to impact your consistency and your motivation to show up there as well. Thanks for sharing that, guys. I hope that this consistency pillar sat with you well. And what we're going to do now is look at the 4th and final pillar of organization. This one's nice, short, and sweet. When we talk about organization, we're looking at preparation and structure, okay? Preparation and structure can make the most ordinary people achieve the most extraordinary things. Really sit with that one for a minute. Preparation and structure can make the most ordinary people achieve the most extraordinary things. You don't need to be extraordinary. You don't need to be a superhuman in order to get far in life. All you need is to be prepared and have a structure to be able to follow, to be able to commit to be able to show up for. And that will help you succeed in so many extraordinary ways. So how are you currently planning for success? What systems do you have in place to support your success? What structure or routine do you follow each day? And are you time blocking to use your time most efficiently? Love for you guys to sit with them and see what comes up. When it comes to becoming more organized, what we want to look at is scheduling time. Maybe every Sunday if you start your work week on a Monday, but if your work week starts a little different, you can change that around. But scheduling time every Sunday to plan your week ahead, getting clear on what you need to be committing to, what you need to be showing up for. Setting reminders in your calendar about deadlines and appointments, creating clear systems to follow with your activity, and creating clear routines to support your success also. So what I want you to do is put the rating out of 10 for the fourth and final time about where you're at with your organization right now. See, 1 is not organized at all, and 10 is completely and utterly organized in your business. And the thing about organization, it can be a hard area to tackle. I was very unorganized when I first dove into this space. Trisha said 5, Serene said 6, and Dakota said 3. Yeah, I was about where you were at, Dakota, when I first started my business. I've never been an organized person, but I discovered very, very quickly that business success depends on organization. So it's a trait that I have actively and consciously worked on developing. And now I'm like freakishly organized when it comes to like the business side of things. Not the cleanliness of my spaces, but the organization and the cleanliness of my business very much so. Alrighty, so what we're going to dive into now is the third and final part of today's workshop, which is unlocking your next level self. What I want you to do is combine these pillars to get the success equation. And this is going to help you unlock your next level self inside your personal life and also inside your business life. Success equals commitment plus action multiplied by time. And what do I mean by this? You need to be committed to your goals and take aligned action towards them also. Consistently over a prolonged time to get the results. So we have the commitment plus the action, and you multiply these 2 by time, and that is what brings you success. I'm no mathematician, but even this is something I could wrap my head around. So there are really 3 key elements that moving forward, I want you to consistently be focusing on to really create that lasting change for yourself. And this is shifting your habits to align with your desired outcome, diving deep into consistent personal development, and surrounding yourself by people that challenge your comfort zone. So how long have you been struggling to shift your habits to align with your desired outcome? How long have you been holding yourself back from doing deep, consistent personal development? And how long have you been stuck inside your comfort zone? I'd love to know, guys, do you resonate with all 3, or is there one in particular out of these 3 elements that stands out for you the most that moving away from today, you're going to be intentional about focusing on? Let me know in the chat box. Is it the aligning your habits, consistent personal development, or breaking out of your comfort zone? Serene said, comfort zone. Comfort zone is where our dreams go to die. So let's break you out of there, Serene. Dakota said all 3. And Trisha said, I'm going to stop holding myself back and breaking out of this comfort zone. Amazing, guys. I'm so glad to hear that you're willing to take action on this, because most people are willing to settle. Most people are willing to stay where they are and sacrifice their goals, their vision. Why? Because it's uncomfortable to actually pursue and achieve them. So how much longer are you willing to stay where you are right now? So if you're ready to create changes to these 3 things, I want you to put a big old yes in the chat box, okay? I know that you guys are committed. I know that you've been so invested in today, and I hope that this workshop has helped you so much with being able to get clear on the areas you need to work on moving forward. So Serene, Dakota, and Trisha, you all said yes to being ready to create change. Amazing. So what we're going to do is, just before we dive into the Q&A section at the end of this workshop today, what I want to share with you guys is a solution. If you are looking for that support to help you with really stepping into these 3 areas and growing yourself further, I want to introduce to you the Aligned Mind community. Some of you may have heard of it before, and this may be the first for others. But what this community really is for helping you step into alignment with that highest version of yourself. So think about that version of yourself who has achieved all the business goals, has built that beautiful dream business that you've always desired. That is who I want to help you step into alignment with. We want to align with your purpose, align with your vision, and really align with the mindset that you need to be able to make this happen. I want to help you find that clarity around what it is you want so we can make it your reality. Furthermore, in this space, we really delve into breaking through fears, stretching that comfort zone. So if that's something that resonated with you, and diving deep into that self-exploration and also embodiment element. So this community, it really does challenge you to stretch your comfort zone and expand in new ways possible. We're actively exploring deep self-growth and transformation. There's support and guidance provided to you by myself and also every beautiful member within this space. And that accountability element is such a huge one as well. How it works is every single week we meet for a 2-hour session where we dive deep into journal reflection, sharing, discussion, and embodiment exercises such as meditations as well, to really help you in getting clear on how you want to move forward, and also that action planning stage as well, helping you step out of every single session with a clear action plan on how to move forward. So if you are interested in joining this space today, I do have a very special workshop opportunity. This is actually an offer that I have never offered before for this space. So if you are wanting to dive in, you can either scan the QR code or click the link there, and you can get full access to this program for just 333 Australian dollars per month. Okay, the regular monthly investment is 555, but for this workshop and all of the attendees here today, I'll offer you that $222 monthly discount. Or if you are wanting to just sign up for an entire year in full, then the actual value of that is $6,660. Wow. But you can sign up today for a full year for just $2,997. So it's pretty freaking crazy there. It's like a $3,600 and something savings. So what I'll do is I'll leave this up on the screen for you guys as we do dive into the Q&A section today. And if you have any questions about these programs as well, feel free to ask them. But otherwise, what questions do you guys have for me from the workshop? Type yes or no in the chat box if you have any questions, and I'll call you out to actually unmute yourself and we can dive into it together. And with this workshop as well, guys, it will be expiring. So if it is something you did want to dive into, then either scan that code now, you can jump in straight away, or you can shoot me a message if it's something you want to have a little bit more of a chat about, but it will expire in 24 hours. I'll just check on Facebook if there's any questions coming through while I wait for you guys. Serene, what question do you have? Unmute yourself.
Hi. How would you deal with feeling that you're still not good enough or worthy enough to coach or be a mentor?
So that's something that we definitely need to start diving into and sitting with and reflecting on. Why do you not feel worthy enough? Why do you not feel good enough? So do you have any idea as to why that is the case?
Just that without certification, I feel like a fraud, while other people who are certified are much more well equipped to help people, I think, than I am.
Yeah. So what I encourage you to do, if you do have this limiting belief of not feeling good enough, or maybe it's a different limiting belief, create a list of all of the reasons why you think that you're not good enough. You know, create that long list. So, other people have certifications, other people are this, other people are that. Then do the fact and fiction exercise, going through and saying, is this fact or is this fiction? And I'll tell you what, Serene, I've definitely resonated with those beliefs that you're carrying right now. And I'll also tell you what, I have gotten to where I am right now in my business with 0 qualifications. Technically, I'm still unqualified because I'm waiting for my life coaching certification to finally come through and be approved. Right? But the reality of this is you don't need qualifications. You don't need certifications. Instead, start exploring, okay, why do I feel I need these things? What am I lacking? If it's lacking knowledge and understanding, how else can you get these things? The way that I gained all of my knowledge and all of my insights into how to coach, how to transform mindsets, and how to build businesses was investing in coaches. So without needing any qualifications or certifications, you can still be developing your knowledge and, you know, your skill sets through either having a coach and mentor. Both will get you to that desired outcome you want, but one of them will get you there quicker than the other. You can figure it out on your own, or you can have someone show you the way. So I want you to sit with that, and I want you to continue to write out the list of why do I think I'm not good enough? And whatever answer comes up for you, I want you to rewrite it. So if you say, I'm not good enough because I don't have certifications, I want you to rewrite that. And I want you to say why you are good enough despite not having certifications. And something that so many people forget about as well is the transformation and the results that you've been able to get yourself. And that's the reason why in this coaching space, you don't actually need certifications. It's not a law that you have certifications and you have qualifications. It obviously is an asset though. So the reason why this is the case is because there's such a deep level of transformation and knowledge that can still be gained and translated without those things. Okay, so I want you to keep exploring that further, Serene, and I want you to write that full list and start to rewrite, okay, the opposite to each, changing that belief. And that's how we start to overcome these doubts. It's about shifting our mindset and shifting our perspective to be in alignment with where we actually do want to be. So how does that sit with you? Did you have any questions coming off that?
I think other than the certification, I think maybe that's it. I don't think anything else. Maybe I could just practice how to influence more, like public speaking, or maybe that's it. That's only it, I think. Yeah. I don't think anything else, to be honest.
Yeah. So really just then sitting and asking yourself that question of where do I feel like I'm lacking? If it's that matter of I don't feel like I'm good enough, I don't think I'm worthy enough, where do you feel like you're lacking? And how can you start to shift that? How can you start to change that? And that'll make a massive difference for you. And particularly, as you said, with that one about qualifications. And yeah, when you talk about improving your confidence with your public speaking as well, that'll make a massive difference, right? So identify where you feel like you're lacking and identify how you can start to change that. Awesome. Thanks for that question, Serene. Do we have any more questions today, guys? Give us a yes or a no in the chat box so I know we're not waiting on anyone. Hope you've enjoyed the workshop today. I've definitely enjoyed presenting this one for you guys. No, thank you so much for all your insights. No worries at all, Trisha. Thank you so much for being present and being so engaged. And guys, if you are interested in having a deeper chat with me after today's session, I know that I have already connected with you guys all on social media, but if you're interested in having any further chats about any awarenesses that have come up or how I could potentially support you in moving forward, just shoot me a message on Instagram or on Messenger, whatever suits you best. And we can dive deeper into that together and see if there is any way that I can support you with your more personal goals. Dakota, no questions, reflecting and grateful for these new shifts and awarenesses. So amazing to hear. Well, guys, with that said, then what I'm going to do is wrap up this workshop now. I will stick around for another 5 minutes unofficially for anyone who does want to have a bit of a chat. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you so much for being present. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your days. Bye-bye.